Hey everyone, welcome back to Heating Up. I'm Emily Carter, and today's episode is all about stories of resistance and resilience in the face of global warming. So, let's just dive right in. I recently got to chat with Dr. Sarah Kim, who's like one of the leading scientists studying melting glaciers and rising sea levels. And honestly, some of what she shared was, well, kind of mind-blowing and a little scary. She talked about how glaciers in places like Greenland and Antarctica are melting way faster than scientists predicted. Even a decade ago, I think she said, the rate has basically doubled in some regions. I might be off by a bit, but the point is, it's happening fast. And that's leading to higher sea levels, which, isn't just a problem for people living on the coast. It affects weather patterns, agriculture, all sorts of things. Speaking of weather, have you noticed how extreme things have gotten lately? Dr. Kim explained that the wildfires, hurricanes, and heat waves we've seen in the past year aren't just random. There's actual science connecting these events to global warming. Like, warmer oceans fuel stronger storms, and hotter temperatures dry out forests, making them more likely to burn. I always thought, it's just a bad year, but it's really part of a bigger pattern. And, okay, this is a little personal, but I visited a local weather station last month. I know, super nerdy, but it was actually really cool. Seeing all the data, like actual numbers and graphs about temperature changes over the years, it just hit different. It's one thing to read about climate change, but seeing the evidence right in front of you, it made it all feel way more real. I left thinking, wow, this isn't just a headline. It's happening right here, right now. So, shifting gears a bit, I had this amazing conversation with Jamal Ortiz, who's a climate activist working with communities that are, honestly, getting hit the hardest by climate change. Jamal talked about how, in a lot of places, it's the people with the fewest resources who are facing the biggest challenges, like losing homes to floods or dealing with polluted air. It's not just about the environment, it's about fairness and justice, too. One story that really stuck with me was about Tuvalu, this tiny Pacific island nation. They're literally fighting a legal battle to protect their land from rising seas. Imagine your whole country being at risk of disappearing. The people of Tuvalu are taking their case to international courts, trying to get the world to recognize their right to exist. It's, kind of heartbreaking, but also super inspiring to see them stand up for their future. Oh, and this reminds me of a debate I had with my students about climate justice. I thought I had all the answers, but they totally surprised me. One student argued that, wealthier countries should do more because they've contributed more to the problem. Another said everyone has to pitch in, no matter where you live. I didn't expect a bunch of teenagers to get so fired up, but it really made me think about how complicated and important these conversations are. Now, I want to talk about some of the everyday heroes out there. There's Maria Gonzalez, for example. She's a community organizer who started this citywide tree planting initiative. I think she said they've planted thousands of trees in just a couple years. It's not just about making the city greener, it's about bringing people together and showing that, small actions can add up to something big. I also got some insights from Laura Chen, a policymaker who's been working on climate policy breakthroughs. She mentioned that, while progress can feel slow, there have been some real wins lately, like new laws to cut emissions and invest in clean energy. Laura said the next steps are all about making sure these policies actually reach the people who need them most. It's, a work in progress, but it's happening. And, okay, last story for today. My neighbor, Mr. Patel, started a rooftop garden last year. At first I thought, that's cute, but now half the block is growing tomatoes and herbs up there. It's become this little community project, and honestly, it's proof that even tiny changes can inspire others. You don't have to be a scientist or a policymaker to make a difference. All right, that's all for this episode of Heating Up. Thanks for listening to these stories of resistance and resilience. I hope you found something here that inspires you, or at least makes you think a little differently about what's possible. We'll be back next week with more voices, more stories, and, well, more hope. Until then, stay curious and keep looking for ways to make a difference, no matter how small. See you next time.